2024. We've had 2 matches completed, one rather long one and one very short one. Now it is time for women's doubles. Kim Bo-ryong and Kim So-young taking on Jia Yifan and Zhang Xuxian, 6 seeds from China. This is effectively a battle of 2 new pairings. Looking at how things are shaping up in this half of the draw. The winner of the match coming up will play Liu and Tan, the 2nd seeds, who have won their match against Xu and Lin earlier on. Well, because they are so new, these pairings, this is the first meeting between them. So let's meet our pairs then. Tell you a bit more about them. Kim Bo-ryong is 22 years of age, the youngest of the 4, 172 centimeters tall, or least experienced, as well, I should say. Just 232. Her previous highest ranking was 91 with a different partner. She was with Kim So-young, 32, superb player. Of course, a former Olympic bronze medalist in the Tokyo Games from Daegu. She's a former world #1 with Kong Hee-young. World Championships silver medalist in 2022, 2 bronzes as well in 2021 and 2023. They had to work hard for that win in the first round against Sung and Yu. Took them to 3 and over an hour to win it. In her time, she's won 11 titles, women's doubles. Kim So-young. Jia Yifan, what a player she is as well, the 27-year-old from Tianjin in northern China, 170 centimeters tall. Olympic champion just a few months ago in Paris, silver in Tokyo. And her partner, also a superb women's doubles player in her own right, from Sichuan, further down south, 169 centimeters tall. World Championships last year, she finished 3rd. Their match truncated with an injury there. Only 23 minutes in that one. But yeah, could be a really new pairing. First time they're playing together, by the way. Umpire Emi Sakamoto of Japan. John Jojon from Bahrain is our service judge. Last year she won this tournament. Zhang Xuxian with Zhang Yu. And this new pairing of the 2 Kims, well, they played last week for the first time and got to the semi-finals of the Korea Masters. With me here in the commentary position, glad to say I'm joined by the former Denmark national coach, Sten Pedersen. How are you, Sten?
Yeah, good. Excited to see these new pairings here. Here's Lee Kyung-won, the Korean women's doubles coach, and she's been good at shuffling the pairs previously, so she's probably trying to find something that's going to work here post the Olympics.
Lee Wen-mei has been with Jia Yifan mainly since the Olympics, and now they're trying this.
Yeah, that's the Chinese. I think Zhang Yifan has, I don't know if it's sort of like a role of honor or something, but three different players have been allowed to play with her.
Zhang Yifan and Zhang CHN, China. And on my left, Kim Bo-Lian and Kim So-yeon, Korea. Kim So-yeon to serve to Zhang Yifan. Love ball. Play.
The Koreans to serve first. What do you make of the Koreans? They're also chopping and changing, which they're more likely to do. They do that a fair bit.
Yeah, they did that following their Uber Cup win back in 2022. They reshuffled some pairings and found Bei Kai-na and Lee So-hee, who's withdrawn from this tournament here. So they had some strong women's doubles pairs there, but I think it's gutsy to try and explore if you can find something even better. And especially here after the Olympics, there's a natural sort of like period where you don't really know what you're going to do. Are you going to challenge for the next Olympics? What's your plan? Is it to win another Uber Cup? So exploring the possibilities, see what works. We see that in a number of countries. Just seen a mixed doubles from Thailand on one of the adjacent courts.
Yes.
Paparanupur now playing with Sampan to see if that works.
Right.
And also to give perhaps some new motivation to the players.
That was the other thing, wasn't it? To maybe refresh.
Yeah.
To find starts for the Chinese pairing. I mean, we are talking about a world number 1 and a world number 2 getting together. So you'd imagine this would be quite a formidable partnership, potentially.
Service over. 1-3.
First point on the board for the Koreans. Kim Bo-Ryong, very much the junior partner in this partnership. Superb shot there by Zhang.
Service over.
Fine start from Chinese. She left by Zhang Yifan.
5-1. Service over. 2-5.
Not a bad start, though, to their career together, the two Kims' team, to advance to a semi-final. Last week's Korean Masters.
No, it's always good to get some wins in. But yeah, it was there was a lot of Korean entries, obviously, in the Korean Masters, and And the most significant win was perhaps in the quarterfinal against Zhang and Shin Sung-chan, which is also players playing these elite tier tournaments in the World Tour circuit. And then losing out to Kim Hae-jung and Kong Hee-young, who I think could be one of the pairs that the Korean team management choose to go with up until the Olympics 2028. But
6-4.
A bit of irony there, of course, that it was Kong who stopped. He was part of the pairing that stopped the two Kims.
Yeah.
The first time that they are facing each other on opposite sides of the court.
Oh, that's a good drop shot.
Lovely. Jia Yifan.
7-4.
How difficult was it, Steve, when you've been part of such a successful pairing like Jia Yifan has been with Chen Qingzhen?
Yeah.
And it's all sort of now come to a close. Gone through a few different partners.
The thing is, we don't really know what the plan is. Is the plan that Chen needed a break and is coming back, because then it's sort of like just like the mixed doubles combination with Alexander Boyer and Robin Tabeling. That's a temporary
thing.
Partnership. Or is it actually that Chen Qingzhen is not coming back, so that Jia Yifan is looking for a partner to play on with?
Kind of feels like limbo, isn't it? Where we're not sure what's going to happen next.
Exactly.
Then she will announce what she's going to do. Chen Qingzhen remains up in the air.
Good interception by Kim So-young.
Service over. 5.
Nice improvisation there from Zhang.
Kim So-young didn't want the shuttle change, but the umpire wasn't alert enough. The Chinese had already changed it. It was hard to go back on that decision. Good shot.
Quite the rally this is turning to be. Finally comes to a close. That's got to be the longest rally we've had so far.
9-5. Wipe the court, please. Zhang, please.
There you go, 62 shots. Thoughts on condition so far, Steve?
Oh yeah, I'm quite positive that the Koreans are playing with the drift, so that it's coming from the far side of the court towards the near side here. Good speed of shuttles so far in the tournament here. Quite a fat smash there from
6,
Pinball
9.
Ryan. Still an age difference on the Korean side there. Kim Soo-young is
10 years difference, I think.
Yeah. This is 32, Kim Soo-young? Yeah. I knew that was 30.
7, 9.
Just closing that gap.
That's a good smash.
Yeah, this has been a good fight back here from the Kims.
9.
That's, of course, one of the challenges when you play a scratch pair. I mean, it's not like they haven't played before. They've obviously played in practice probably a considerable amount of times. But who is covering the middle in the defense? That's always something that you need to figure out.
That's over. 10, 8.
Well, stay talking about through the middle.
Service over. 9, 10.
So it didn't quite work. I thought it might be going out.
I like the idea
10,
from Zhang there. Tried a little deception.
So that's just out. As you said, the drift behind the Koreans, and it's the Chinese pair who have a slender 1-point lead after a fine start. 5-1 and then 9 or 8-4 up. The Koreans have tightened things up. It's 11-10 to the Chinese pair at the interval of the first game.
Hot 1, 20 seconds. Hot 1, 20 seconds. Players on court.
Well, Stine, I know you're very fond of Japan, coming here, and this is your first time in Kumamoto?
11,
My first time in
10.
Kumamoto, yes. Very nice impression of the city so far.
Nice venue as well, nice and cozy in here. Got the school kids.
Yeah, well...
Great to see.
10.
yeah, it's... I have a little bit of mixed emotions about that because sometimes it becomes a lot of chatter and
noise.
yeah, sometimes it does, yeah. But obviously it's good to see live sports and get inspiration. It's more like if it's badminton clubs that come to see, make trips to the Japan Open or Kumamoto Masters, All England, some Danish Open. I recall from my childhood, the clubs were making trips to tournaments, and that's all people that are interested in badminton. That didn't keep us from chasing autographs, and there was no pictures back then. It was a different time. But here, selfies is highly valued. That's beautiful. So
that's wonderful. Yeah.
15.
Well, you never know, might inspire a child or two here.
Exactly.
Some Japanese players coming here to court one a little bit later on. Kodai Naruoka, Hoki Kobayashi as well. Young there ready to react. It's a fine lead now after they got really tight from the interval.
They've scored all the points after the interval. Chinese. A rare service error from Zhang. One of the very best servers in women's double,
60.
in my opinion.
Where do you rank Jia Yifan and Zhang Jingchen for you, Steve, over the years that you've watched the badminton? As one of the very best?
Just her?
As a women's doubles,
as a pair?
As a pair.
Yeah, one of the very best. I think it's always very difficult to compare certain eras, but I mean, winning
everything that they
consistently,
have.
as they've done, I don't think there's something that they haven't won. I think the Olympics was the last
which they
thing missing. They won 2 World Junior titles and transferred that to senior badminton. That's not so easily done.
Right.
But there's been many great women's doubles pairs in their days. We've got a lot more tournaments now. The strain is it's bigger.
Right.
So is the reward.
True.
So it's difficult to win all out. In back in the days, there were some pairs they rarely lost a match.
Right. So to be as consistent as they have been in this modern era.
Good shot, good placement.
This post-interval session has been excellent for the Chinese pair. 7-2 since the break in their favor. This is the first Chinese pairing they've come up against. Of course, this new pairing from Korea. This week, a lot of fellow Koreans that they played. Brilliantly done. Zhang Xuxian was under a bit of pressure. Just holding it. Going into that corner. 8 game points now.
Good shot.
Service over.
He's going all out on the first smash there.
30.
Sort of launching herself forward. Kim So-young.
She looks away. Kim So-young in frustration. It's a fine first game win for the Chinese pairing. It was very, very tight until the interval, only a point separating the two pairs. And since then, they just surged forward comfortably. 10-3 they won after the interval, and it's 21-13 to Zhang.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Clear the court.
So a great first game
Wait.
for this pairing of Jia Yifan and Zhang Xuxian, who are serving here in the second.
Second game. Love ball. Play. One, love.
Fine start to this second game.
Yeah, that's great play.
2, love.
She's got a great eye for the game, Zhang Xuxian. Not as physically strong as Jia Yifan. Few is, but also her previous partner Li Wenmei, and not to speak of Liu Xiangju and Tan Ning. She's lacking a little bit in terms of physical strength, but the eye for the game is magnificent. So
That's over.
I'm sure she sees this as the two most important tournaments to sort of show the Chinese management that she's a player to be reckoned with for the future as well. And if they win this match, they're playing Liu Xiangju and Tan Ning. That would be
That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
a fantastic match, because it would say something about the kind of level Zhang Xuxian can play to. She was looking set to qualify for the Olympics alongside Zhang Yu until Liu Xiangju and Tan Ning surfaced. So there's also a lot of pressure. It's not just an opportunity. It's some part of it is an opportunity to play with the sort of the greatest at the moment, the Olympic champion. But there's also some kind of pressure in it, because if you're not winning, well, then it's probably not the Olympic champion's problem, even though it could be, because, I mean, what kind of shape is Jia Yifan in? Is she practicing just as focused, just as motivated as when they were practicing up until the Olympics? Or has she dropped a little bit? It's difficult playing with different partners and so on. And it starts out, then it's fun, and perhaps then it becomes a little bit sort of like, oh, maybe she's just wishing for Chen Qingchen to come back. You don't know.
There must be a lot going on there.
Yeah, I'm certain there's a lot of thoughts and consideration. Also on the Korean side, Kim Bo-ryong being 22, being partnered with a 10-year-old partner, is that a partnership that you can sort of rely on long-term,
right,
compared to one of your former partners who's now playing with a much younger player, also from the World Tour.
So what does that do to your mentality as well?
Exactly. So you've got to just try and stay focused and make the most of it for yourself.
5-3.
I know it's easier said than done, Steve, but it's about being in the present, right? Like just worrying about this.
Being in the present and being happy for what you've got.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I'm playing Super 500 events now.
Right.
I wasn't doing that
which you wasn't able to do before.
No.
Yeah.
And next week she's playing Super 750 in China Masters. So, but many see it as, oh, that's an opportunity. You get to play with an old, experienced player. Yeah, sometimes it is. Depends on the attitude of that player. Right. Sometimes it's not so good, because if that player is sort of like
they know that they're coming towards
and not really practicing as hard and so on, then it's very difficult.
Well, as Steve was pointing out, let's have a look at Jia Yifan. She partnered with Lee Wen-mei right after the Olympics. The Japan Open was the first tournament after. Got to the semis where they lost to Liu Xiangshu and Tan Ning. Then also got to the semi-finals of the next tournament, where she was with Zhang Yu, who was Zhang Shuxian's former partner at the China Open. We got to the quarterfinals with Lee Wen-mei. She returned to her at the Arctic Open. And then the quarters of the Denmark Open. That was with Lee Wen-mei again. So they've got relatively deep steam.
Yeah, they have, but we also have to realize that in this period here following the Olympics, the women's doubles department is not especially deep. It's quite strong in the top, but it's a few nations that dominate.
Right.
China, Korea,
7,
Japan,
5.
and Chinese Taipei, not so much for the top strength, but they are actually deep. So in this tournament, from those 4 nations, is 24 of the 32 entries.
Let's say a lot. We look at the race to the final rankings in women's doubles.
Service over.
Liu Xiangshu and Tan Ning leading proceedings.
Here working a lot more from the backcourt than when she's playing with Chen Chen. That is a point of concern, in my opinion, for Zhang Shuxian. Oh, that's a beautiful drop shot.
Wonderful.
7-0.
Sorry, expand on that a little bit more about having Jia Yifan having to work a lot more on the backcourt now.
Yeah, Chen and Jia Yifan, when playing, they're able to tailor their game to what's needed given the circumstances, given the opponents. They can have Jia Yifan as a front court player looking to finish the rallies with Chen working as sort of a playmaker from the backcourt.
Right.
Or they can play the opposite, as we see here, where Jia Yifan is working a lot from the backcourt, really trying to make things happen with her big smash. They can also play a little bit more counter-attacking style and rely on a solid defense.
7.
So they are good in all playing conditions, and they don't have any particularly sort of opponents that they fare especially bad against. And that's basically what you're looking for when you're China, Korea, Japan. You're not really looking for who can win a Super 300 tournament. You're looking for who can win the Olympics, who can win the World Championships in any kind of conditions.
Right.
Good flicker.
It's easily put away by Zhang.
9-8.
Just in front here, so following a similar pattern in this second game as we saw in the first half of the opening game.
Yeah. There's a situation here where now they're going into the defense. Oh, yeah, the racket's gone.
Oh, Zhang on her own for a minute. Oh, look at that. Sprinted off. And they won the point. Always entertaining when that kind of thing happens, and she did a great job of it, Jay Fan.
There it is. She had all the time in the world. She was super quick. She came from the totally opposite side of the court.
Not the most opportune time to go and do it, but she had to. Let's go back to Kimbo Ryori. You were saying, you know, she's now getting the opportunity to play in tournaments that she otherwise may not have sniffed at for a long time.
Yeah. And playing opponents of a higher level.
This kind of caliber. Yeah. Well, what do you make of her so far? But she's kind of holding her own, isn't she?
She's doing okay, but it's too early to do a verdict the way I see it.
Beautifully done. Kim So-yeon.
Who also played with a lot of different partners before she found that partnership with Kong Hee-young, who became a very stable partnership, Olympic bronze medalist and so on. But I think she played at least 7 different partners before she found Kong. But it gives you a lot of experience, and sometimes you can play in positions that you're not that strong in, which helps you build your playing strength, your overall playing strength.
So we get to the interval of this second game, also similar to how the first game shaped up, with Jia and Zhang just in front, this time by 2. It was 1 in the previous game, and they've also won that first game, so they looking good at the moment.
Post 1, 20 seconds. Post 1, 20 seconds. Clear the court.
That was right at this period where the Chinese surged forward. Very comfortable first game win after that, after the break.
just to follow up on that before the interval, that playing in different partnerships can sort of enhance your overall playing strength, because you get to play with different partners who's got different strengths. So Kim So-young has, in some of her previous partnerships, been the backcourt player, the clear backcourt player, and some the clear frontcourt player, and then you sort of become stronger in those positions. And that's super important, because women's doubles is constantly evolving. It's not enough to be strong. You also have to be able to move. It's not enough to be able to move. You also have to be strong. And you also have to be at the very top. You have to have a really good understanding of the game. It cannot just be sort of like training exercises that's transferred to matches. You have to have an understanding of the situation, the playing conditions, the opponents, and so on. And that takes time.
49.
Well, we are looking at perhaps a little case of déjà vu here. 5-point lead now, 3 in a row since the break for the Chinese pair.
This holds up, then we have a very, very interesting quarterfinal against Liu and Tan. That's one I'd pay entry fee to see that match.
That's going to be fascinating to watch. In form pair at the moment. Liu and Tan.
16-9.
Jane Fan getting a little bit extra power in her smashes, playing with the drift.
You can see Kim So-young having a long chat there with her partner.
Yeah.
Point 3, umpire, Luo William, China. Subs judge, Zhang Hong Kong, China. Umpire, Luo William.
Look across here to the service judge.
Service judge, Zhang Liang, Hong Kong, China.
He said it's undue delay. Undue delay. Stop and.
Yes, not ready. Yes.
Yeah. There's a little bit of confusion.
Wait.
Still trying to clarify things here, the umpire and the service judge.
As a service judge, undue delay means stop here, and so she started backward and stop delay. Start sub. You delay to start sub afterwards. Yeah. Delay.
Steen, take us through that.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit tricky. I can understand the confusion with the Chinese team, because I'm a little confused myself. Whether it's undue delay, that she's waiting too long before she starts, or that she's waiting too long from moving her racket back before she moves it forward again. And I actually think, I'm not 100% certain. I think the service judge can call the delay when the racket has moved back, right, and is about to move forward to the shuttle. But if it's waiting too long before moving the racket back, then I think it's the umpire who needs to call that.
Other card.
But
he
I'm not certain. We might have to check with one of the referees later on.
Sometimes a contentious moment like that could be a turning point.
17-11.
But
That's true.
Doesn't appear to necessarily be the case. We'll see. The Chinese looked very, very confused about the situation. Appears that normal service has resumed.
11.
Very healthy 7-point lead and just 3 required.
Court 4, umpire Takashi Nishiyama, Japan. Service judge Manabu Sakurai, Japan. Final court, umpire Nishiyama Takashi.
Got long on that one from Zhang CHN.
12-18.
Men doubles. Muhammad Azri Azri. Tan Riton, Malaysia. Ko Jife, New Izzy, Malaysia. LWC. Muhammad Azri Azri. Tan Riton,
Service over. 19-12.
New Izzy, Malaysia.
Oh, that's beautifully done. Jay Fun, and that sets up 8 match points. Does well to get there, Zhang CHN.
Service over.
Need to hold a little on that shot.
13-20.
1 point saved. Must have been a confusion there.
Good play.
So Young with a delicate touch.
Just revisited
40-20.
that service fault call there, and I have to say that I'm not absolutely certain.
Thank you.
I agree with our service judge on the call.
Or whether it was his call in the first place on that one.
Yeah, I think it was that Zhang CHN sort of broke the movement from moving backwards until moving forward. Just more significant in my opinion. Boy.
3 in a row here for the Kims.
Should have been charged an extra point for netting that one as well.
Exactly. Make it interesting.
Boy, fantastic.
She makes up for it, Zhang CHN, and it's a fine win here for this new Chinese pairing. They were comfortable, really, in the second half of each game. After a tight start to both, but very promising so far from Jay Fun and Zhang CHN, but it's the next match, I think, for them that really will be a great test, and one that my fellow commentator here is certainly looking forward to, as I think many badminton fans will be. So a great win here for this scratch pairing of Jia Yifan and Zhang Xuxian. They are 6 seeds here. They've beaten the Kims of Bo Ryong and So Young 21-13, sorry, 21-15 in just 44 minutes. There, some of those school kids that we were talking about that are in this venue at the moment, watching some great badminton action. And Kumamoto Masters Japan 2024. Into our 4th match of the day. It's women's singles, our 2nd one here on court 1. And it's PV Sindhu of India taking on Canada's Michelle.